I've been really enjoying owning an electric car. It's fast, it's environmentally friendly, it's quiet, it's clean, and frankly it's great fun. It's a big gadget on wheels and I just love it for that reason. So far, my friends haven't tired of me telling them about it. I wonder how long that'll last. When it's plugged in to charge, either here at home or in one of the public charging stations, say at a motorway service station, it's often useful to be able to keep track of how the charging is going. There's an app on the phone which will allow me to do that. And this is very handy. You can be sitting in the service area or in a restaurant and see your state of charge. But it never quite did everything I wanted to do. Firstly, it runs on my phone beautifully and on my iPad, but it doesn't work on my computer, and sometimes that would be more useful. But secondly, when I'm sitting in those locations, sometimes I'd like to know when the charge has reached a particular level, so that I can go on to the next destination or the next charging point. I'd like to be notified of that. This app doesn't currently do that for me. So I've created my own web page for the car on which I can get the functionality I need. It works beautifully on the phone here, but it's going to be easier to show you on the screen. So if I bring up the web page, it connects to the car, asks it for some details, and presents them to me here in my web browser. It tells me my state of charge, roughly how much range I've got, based on temperature and recent driving conditions and so on, how I performed on my last trip, which was only 2.5 miles, and it tells me things about like whether the car is locked and so on. We'll come back to this bit at the bottom in a minute. I can also click on here and it will bring up a map showing where the car is, and if I zoom out a little, showing me the approximate range based on, again, the state of charge. The orange points here are local rapid charging points, and I can click on one of them to go and find out more on the Open Charge Map site. Let's go back to here. So the thing I wanted to do was get notifications about when the car reached certain levels of charge. And what I can do is I can fill in here, say that I'm interested in 80% charge, 90% charge and 100% charge. This is actually quite important because the last 10 or 15% takes much longer than, getting up to 80%. So it's sometimes very useful just to know when you've hit the 80% or so. That may be enough to head on your way. Alternatively, if you don't think in terms of percentages, you can put in a particular range here. So if I know that the next point or the final point, my destination, is 53 miles away, I can put that in there and I can click monitor and off it goes, and it will then send a notification to my phone when the charge reaches that level. And in fact, I've just got a notification to say that it's already reached 100%, so I don't need to monitor it any further. So what does it look like actually running on the phone? Well, it has its own little icon there on my home screen, and you can see it basically looks just the same as the web browser. It connects to the car, gets the mileage. I recorded this a little earlier, so it shows different figures. There's the information that we saw before, and this is the area where you can set up monitoring and notifications. And as on the website, if you click on the range number, you get to see the map showing where you are, in case you don't know, and showing the approximate range and the various local charging stations. And I find this much easier to use than the BMW app, at least for the monitoring of my charging, though for detailed mapping of charging points I would use an alternative app. So I hope that's been of interest, and do let me know what you think.